Now, I do love a bit of street photography, and over the years, that's the type of photography I favour most. I did start off doing portrait, fashion photography, landscapes. I've tried it all. Weddings, the dreaded weddings, I've tried them all. But the photography that I love the best is street photography. It's just brilliant to capture people as they go about their daily lives. Now, my camera of choice when I started my little journey in street photography was the Fujifilm X100V. Now, that was a fabulous little camera, and I loved the way it had the fixed lens. And yeah, you were restricted, but it was a lovely lens, the perfect focal length, and I captured loads and loads of great shots with that camera. However, I decided to sell it. Controversial, I know, but I decided to sell it because I wanted something with interchangeable lenses. And I settled on the X-T5, which is a diamond of a camera. It's fantastic. Now, I paired it with this little 27mm lens, which is absolutely brilliant. It's so tiny and it's unobtrusive, and it allows you to sort of walk around the streets and it doesn't stand out, basically. And what I tend to do is flip the screen out and I have the camera at waist height, and I will wander through the streets taking photographs. People are so unaware of what I'm doing because I'm there and I'm gone. And if they have seen me, it's too late, I've walked away. But that is the style of street photography that I do. I could see something off in the distance, walk over, and as I'm walking past, as I say, get the photograph. So that's the way I like to do it, basically. However, as I've got older, my legs are not as good as what they used to be. So I decided, rightly or wrongly, to get a telephoto lens, because my reasoning was, if I had a telephoto lens, I could find somewhere interesting, or somewhere where there's a lot of footfall, or a location where there's something interesting going on. Sit there, find a suitable place to sit, and then just extend that lens and just zoom in to take me into the action. So that was the plan. So let me show you the lens that I got. I got the Fujifilm 70-300 lens, which is a beast of a lens. It's a beautiful lens. If you're thinking about getting this lens, stop thinking and just buy it, because it's brilliant. However, is it any good for street photography? Well, it extends quite a way, and that is not secretive, is it? I can't be unobtrusive with this lens, or so I've found. But that said, it's brilliant. Now, when you compare the two lenses together, side by side, the 27mm and the 70-300, you can see that the 70-300 extends to 209mm, whereas the 27mm lens is only 23mm. So that's pretty obvious, isn't it? A telephoto is going to be much bigger than a short focal length lens. You know, a lens that was almost as small as a pancake lens. That is obvious. But what wasn't obvious to me is that when I took that lens out on my X-T5 into the streets, that so many people would notice me. As soon as I put the camera to my eye to take a shot, people would sort of register that I was about to take the shot. So before we move on then, let me show you a selection of photographs that I've taken with the 27mm lens, and then we'll look at some shots that I've taken with the 300mm lens, and we can have a little look at the difference. So with the 27mm lens, I can get right into the action. Now, they will look at me. This lady is obviously looking at me, but I don't mind that because I love the look. But as I say, I can just wander through the streets, and occasionally somebody will clock that I have taken their photograph, and sometimes they won't. But I'm there for such a short length of time that no one really complains. And I managed to just capture daily life as it happens, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So as I say, quite unobtrusive, and I don't invade anyone's personal space. It's all very easy. So with this shot, the lady did complain, but I kind of went over and spoke to her, and she was very nice when I explained I was a professional photographer, and I was going to do nice things with a photograph. So with this X-T5 paired with the 27mm lens, it's just been an absolute dream to just walk around and capture life as it happens. I don't get in anyone's way. I don't annoy anyone. I would probably say if they knew I was taking the photograph, they might be annoyed. But they never really get onto the fact I'm taking the shot. And if they did, I'm sort of walk past and I've gone. And it's all a bit too late. I have had a little bit of trouble now, just with that one lady, to be fair, in the restaurant. But I did make it a bit obvious I was taking a shot, to be honest, because as I say, normally I'm walking and I haven't stopped. Right, let's take a look at some photographs then. Tongue-tied then. Let's take a look at some photographs that I've shot with the 300mm lens. So in this first shot, the guy is on a double-decker bus. Now he's on the top deck and I am I'm at street level down below. And again, you can see he has seen me with the big lens taking the shot. I don't mind that though, because I love the way he's looking at the camera. But yeah, he's seen me basically. Now, if we look at this next shot of the guy playing the accordion, I was a fair distance away and yet he could see what I was doing. I do love that look to camera though, so I'm not too bothered about that. I do like that. Now this shot, I was across the other side of the street and there was a bodybuilding convention at my local centre. This guy had come out to see his friends and assumed the pose, and I was sitting across the road. Fabulous. That's exactly what I got the lens for, to capture shots from a distance that I couldn't get close up. And I was sitting down, which was the other bonus. Now in this shot, of course, the woman is not looking at me because she's looking the other way. But I am on the beach and she is on the rocks. And again, this is ideal. This is what I got the lens for, to get the shots that I can't get with the 27mm lens. And of course, I haven't annoyed this lady. She can't see me and it's just ideal. Perfect. The perfect combination, exactly what I wanted. Now in this shot of the patisserie, I am a fair distance away, across the road, traffic going past, and I just wanted to frame this lady in the window in the servant hatch. But she could see me. She's curious about what I'm doing. In this shot, I basically just hid behind a wall. Now I've got a similar shot which you might remember from the 27mm collection, where I just walked past and took the shot. But this one, I had time to compose the shot, wait for them to look in different directions, and then get the shot. And as I say, I had to hide to do it, but it works, doesn't it? And I'd never get that with the shorter lens unless I got it by accident. And finally, the offending shot. This is the shot that got me cancelled. And as you can see, it's a young chap jumping from the rocks into the marina below. So let me show you the offending photograph and see what you think. This was the photograph that got me cancelled. And it's just simply a young chap jumping into the marina off the rocks on a very hot day where I live, close to the coast. So to put things into context, let me show you a little video of what happened. Now it's only a fun, whimsical video, but you'll get the general idea of why I got cancelled when I took this photograph.
Hey, you can't do that! Somebody stop him! He's taking photographs of kids!
So yes, as I was about to take the shot, I heard a voice behind me, and it was an old lady, and she was shouting and screaming. I had no idea she was shouting at me because I was looking through the viewfinder of the XT5, but she was standing behind me shouting and screaming, "Hey, he's taking photographs, he can't do that." I turned round, I couldn't believe she was talking to me. So I had to go over to her and say, look, I'm a professional photographer. I'm documenting life as it happens in the area that I live. This is what I do for a profession. She looked at me kind of like disbelieving and wandered off. But by that time, the damage had been done. She'd accused me of something really horrible. And obviously I was just doing my job as a street photographer. And I thought, this never happened when I used my 27mm lens, because I walked, I took shots, and I didn't bother anyone. I didn't stay anywhere in the one place for too long. And just having that telephoto lens and raising the camera to my eye, it just drew all that attention. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with the shot. Let's take a look at the shot then. And what I did was, obviously, I put my camera into continuous burst mode and just took a series of photographs as the young guy jumped into the water. Then I took it into Photoshop and just layered it and masked it to produce the shot, the finished shot. Now, I kind of aimed for that when I was actually shooting the photograph. I had that in mind, actually, that I would have the progression of the jump into the water. So you think about it, I'm actually got that sort of design idea in my head, how I'm going to do it. I'm just waiting for the young guy to jump, but then I get accused of something horrible. And that really put me off using the telephoto lens, which is a shame, really, isn't it? Now, as a shot, it works great. In my opinion, I really like it and I'm quite proud of it. Now, this reminds me when I was in Italy with a couple of photographer friends, and I went to a bohemian part. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Italy. It was Madrid. It was Madrid, just remembered. And I went to a bohemian part of Madrid, and the other two guys went to different locations, and we met up in the evening. And I showed the guys the shots I'd got, and they went, "Well, we want to go there tomorrow. Your shots are great." So I, as always, had shot at waist height very quickly and moved on. And nobody approached me. I didn't annoy anyone while I was taking my shots the day earlier. But on the day my friends went, they did the classic of putting the camera to their eye, focusing, and once somebody sees a camera pointed at them, that is the time that they're probably going to get annoyed, isn't it? Or they could do. And that's exactly what happened. I did a series of great shots of an old-fashioned barber's in this bohemian part of Madrid. I got some great shots, and I just stood facing the barber shop, camera at waist height like I normally do, and there was no problem. As soon as my friend the next day pointed the camera at the barber shop and looked through the viewfinder, that was it. The barber came out and complained. So it's a combination, I think, really, of putting the camera to your eye, pointing it at somebody, but also using a long lens. I don't necessarily think it is the long lens that people are annoyed with. It is more the fact that you are actually looking through a viewfinder and pointing a camera at them. I think that's more what it is. And with that in mind, I thought, right, I'm going to take some shots where I do what I normally do and put the camera at waist height, but I'll have to sit down because obviously walking around with an extended 300mm lens is not ideal. So that's what I did, and I put the camera on my waist, flipped out the screen, and it makes it more difficult to frame your shot when you do that, I think. But I'll put a couple of shots on the screen and you can see generally what I did by just having the camera on my waist extended with the lens extended to 300mm. And as you can see, these people have no idea. I know they might be looking in my general direction, but they have no idea they're having the photograph taken. I would say I didn't find that enjoyable sitting there doing that. I really didn't. So to have that camera sitting down and just touching the screen and hopefully the framing's okay. And then obviously if it's a bright day, you can't really see the screen. It's not ideal. So I'm going to go back to my 27mm lens because I absolutely love it. And it puts me in the right frame of mind to get street photographs as well. And that little sort of form factor and how fantastic and retro it looks and how great it feels in the hand, I'm going to stick with this. And I have to now find a use for the 70 to 300mm lens. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like the story and you want to hear more photographic stories, plus I'll have my photography course online soon, if it isn't already. You know what YouTube's like. Depends when you're watching the video. But like and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. You take care.